Narrow way 12, slayer self. Self is the supreme stumbling block in the spiritual life. Self, arch traitor to yourself, is your deadliest foe. Self, that wanton whore lying in the bosom of every man, seduces that true self within. Self, the household idol enshrined within every heart, has incense burned before it daily by more than 8 billion souls. Satan, tempter though he be, and lion-like, roaring loud, is tame by comparison. For a genuine Christian, though not for a fake one, he is chained as he prowls about seeking someone to devour. It was so with Job. Job 1:12. Then the Lord said to Satan, Behold, all he has is in your power. Only do not lay your hand upon his person. Raging, ransacking, yes, but chained. His leash was short for Peter as well. Luke 22:31 and 32. Simon, behold, Satan has demanded permission to sift you all like wheat, but I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. No, this tempting adversary has his limits under the Almighty's jurisdiction, and not Peter alone. 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you but such as is common to man, and God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape so that you will be able to endure it. No, Satan is not our greatest threat. He who was begotten of God keeps him, and the evil one does not touch him. 1 John 5:18. Our first mother, Eve, stretched out an accusing finger at slayer serpent in Genesis 3:13. The serpent deceived me, and I did eat. But the sovereign Lord, not deceived, stretched out his own finger of accusation at slayer's self, saying in Genesis 3:13, What is this that you have done? Self is our dire and desperate enemy, not Satan. To see your strongest foe, your inalienable combatant, gaze into the mirror. There self will match your steely stare unflinchingly. Self is the arena of your fiercest battle. Your most intense combat is waged here in the realm of speculations, and every lofty thing raised up against the knowledge of God. 2 Corinthians 10:5. These must be destroyed, and every thought taken captive to the obedience of Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Do you see it? Speculations, imaginations, false arguments, lofty, arrogant presumption, wayward, corrupt thoughts. These all proceed from within, not from without. Self is the source, and they must be torn down, excised, demolished, and slain. Galatians 5:24. Those that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with its passions and lusts. This is warfare. This is mortal combat. Every godly soul must take up sides with God against this usurping tyrant self. Colossians 3 verse 5. Put to death, therefore, the members of your earthly body, sexual immorality, impurity, shameful passion, evil desire, and greed, which is idolatry. Do not spare in this conflict. Romans 13:14. Put on the Lord Jesus Christ and make no provision for the flesh to arouse its desires. The mystery of godliness is contained in this: we live to die and die to live. Matthew 16:25. Whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Slayer self must be slain. You alone can do that. In the sovereign citadel of this thing called your heart will be discovered either slayer self enshrined or the saving Christ of God. You hold the key. You must choose. You are neither the victim of Satan's assaults, nor will the Lord Jesus batter down that door. It is one of the most fearful of realities that self can resist and refuse even the Almighty. Stop and ponder that. Romans 8:13. If you are living according to the flesh, you are certainly going to die. But if by the Spirit you are putting to death the deeds of the body, you will live. Life springs forth from death. John 12:24. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. From death sprouts life. From life flows fruit. From self comes flesh. From flesh is death. From death to life, or life to death. Either way, we must die. Better to die to self than for self to slay you. Paul said, "To me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." Philippians 1:21. But dying is only gain if living is only Christ. Slay yourself must be slain, or slayer self will slay you. Which will it be? You choose.